So I really think that J.J. Watt has a legitimate chance at winning the NFL MVP award this year. Say what? Nah, you can't be serious. Nah, you cray. I know, I get it. Defensive players, no matter how dominant they can be, they just don't win the NFL MVP. It hasn't happened since 1986 when Lawrence Taylor won it, and there's been just 4 instances of it overall. The others, Baltimore Colts defensive end Gino Marchetti in 1958. There was Detroit Lions linebacker Joe Schmidt in 1960, and Minnesota Vikings defensive tackle Alan Page in 1971. But here's the thing. I think he has a shot because I don't know if there's that many viable candidates out there this year. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, they're kind of like in their twilights of their careers. I don't see any of the running backs or wide receivers winning the award either. There's Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck. Those are the two that, really stand out. But I don't really see anybody else that can win the award. Clayton Kershaw won the NL MVP last year for this very reason. It was a down year for MVP candidates. So, I think this is as good of a year as any for Watt to win that trophy. Remember how dominant he was in 2012? Well, he, won't have to worry about Adrian Peterson nearly breaking the all-time single-season rushing record. The problem, though, I don't have the Texans making the postseason. So if Watt's going to do the unthinkable, they need to make the playoffs. But I definitely think a third Defensive Player of the Year award in 4 years is definitely a strong possibility. I'll tell you what, I've learned one thing from Hard Knocks. There's nobody that curses more than Bill O'Brien. We've also learned, though, that he's a pretty good coach. The Texans improved by 7 victories a year ago, going 9-7 and challenging for a wild card spot. They did, however, go 5-8 following a promising 4-1 start. It may be another musical chairs exhibition at quarterback with Brian Hoyer and Ryan Mallett, the 2 guys. Hoyer was named the starter for Week 1. We'll see if letting go of the best player in franchise history, Andre Johnson, bites the Texans in the ass, but DeAndre Hopkins is a stud. So, before I go position by position, I've got all the rankings below, unit rankings, player rankings. I got numbers besides each player, so make sure you click on that description box below. Brian Hoyer, he had a very strong start to 2014, but then came unglued and eventually lost his job to the underwhelming Johnny Manziel. Turnovers were the biggest problem. Hoyer, he's got ties with O'Brien when he was with New England. He knows the system. He doesn't have the arm talent or size that Mallett does, but I like his fiery competitiveness and leadership qualities. Mallett has failed to impress so far. He actually beat out Hoyer in 2012 to become Tom Brady's backup in New England. But I don't know. He just kind of hasn't put it together yet. Tom Savage is the third stringer. Got a big arm. But I believe he just recently got hurt. So I believe he's could be on the PUP list on IR. Not 100% sure. Sorry, Texans fans. Arian Foster, he's always been a guy that doesn't get enough respect. Unfortunately, he's always hurt. Although the hope is that he'll be back sooner rather than later following a groin injury in training camp. He hasn't played in the preseason. Didn't play in the preseason. It was originally reported that he would miss half the season, but he could be back as early as the end of September. He's deceptively fast, seemingly gliding like a speed skater when he runs the ball. He possesses great vision and jump cutting ability. But injuries, again, like I said, they continue to harp in his career. He missed 3 games in 2014 due to hamstring issues. Alfred Blue, Chris Polk, Johnathan Grimes, they're going to get the carries during his absence. Hopkins, he's an elite receiver in the making, and he's going to have to be if Houston fans want to forget about Andre. He put up his first 1,000-yard season last year. He's got huge hands, really attacks the ball, solid run after the catch ability. He doesn't stretch the field enough, which is something, the Texans receiving corps kind of lacks. Who's going to be the number 2 guy, though? Will it be the injury-prone and inconsistent Cecil Shorts? Will it be Nate Washington or third-round rookie Jaelen Strong? If there is a vertical threat. It is strong. Although he doesn't get a lot of separation, he relies on his physicality and positioning to catch the ball. Schwartz is quicker than fast and has flash skills in the past with Jacksonville. Washington brings a veteran presence in the slot position and will provide leadership to the young players. Garrett Graham, CJ Fiedorowicz, and Ryan Griffin are the trio at tight end, but they're not great, so much so that Watt was catching touchdown passes in the red zone last year. Duane Brown has the best technique of any lineman in the game. The guy never holds and allowed just 2 sacks last season. His length also makes him very tough to beat on the edge. Houston likes to run his own scheme in the running game, and Brown is a good fit for it. He's fluid going to his left or right and understands angles. Sometimes he'll miss his man in space, but overall, really, really solid run blocker. Derek Newton is the starter at the other tackle spot. He signed a 5-year deal in March. He's a dominant run blocker. Brandon Brooks and Xavier Suafilo, I hope I didn't butcher that name, they're the guards. Brooks is a mammoth man. He uses his strength and lateral agility to generate movement. Suafilo, he's a second-round draft pick in 2014. Didn't really have a good rookie season. Ben Jones will have the task of replacing longtime Texan center Chris Myers. Watt's stat line last year, absolutely incredible. He put up 20.5 sacks, forced 4 fumbles, defended 10 passes, returned an interception, 80 yards for a touchdown, hurried the quarterback 54 times, and also led all linemen with 78 tackles. And this doesn't even include the 3 touchdown passes he caught. Watt, he's the first player in NFL history to record 2 seasons with at least 20 sacks. He also had 20.5 in 2012. He's still just 26 years old and has recorded 51.5 sacks in all over the past 3 seasons. The high energy, high motor playing Watt, simply a freak of an athlete. He lines up all over the place on the Texans line and could probably play every position in the front 7 of a 3-4 or a 4-3. He single-handedly destroys game plans. He has a rare explosion that, quite frankly, I've never really seen before for a man his size, except for maybe Reggie White. He has the quickness to block, to get by blockers, and it's exceptionally stout at the point of attack. His hands are very powerful and can send the lineman flying backwards, and his closing speed to the quarterback is remarkable. But I think what might be Watt's best quality, despite the gaudy sack totals, is his awareness to get his hands up into passes at the line of scrimmage. And he's become so good at this that it's become a trend in the league, and more players are now doing it. His hand-eye coordination is so good that sometimes he can haul in some of those throws for interceptions. In run defense, he reestablishes the line of scrimmage. He never gets pushed backward. So not only is he the best pass-rushing 3-4 defensive end in the game, he's also the best at stopping the run. He's truly the complete package, simply that once-in-a-generation defensive talent. Jared Crick is the other starter at defensive end. You can tell that Watt's kind of taken him under his wing because their playing styles are kind of similar. The Patriots released Vince Wilfork, who spent his first 11 years with New England back in March, and one of the main reasons why he's now in Houston is his daughter, Destiny. She really wanted to meet JJ. Well, she got her wish earlier in training camp. The other reason why he's with the Texans, though, he gets to reunite with one of his former defensive coordinators, Romeo Crennel. He's 33 now and clearly not in the prime of his career anymore, but he's still effective out there on the field. He can still occupy double teams and disrupt an offense, and being part of a winning culture in Foxborough, Wilfork will provide some leadership to a somewhat young Texans locker room. There's not much depth behind the 3 starters there in the D-line, which made it even more surprising to me why the Texans let Louis Nix go. I guess that's how bad and lazy he was. Jadeveon Clowney was limited to just 146 snaps last season due to microfracture surgery, and many have questioned his passion for the game. From a physical perspective, he's a once-in-a-generation type of specimen, a perfect blend of size, strength, and athleticism. Watt could use some help. O'Brien has stated, however, that Clowney will be brought along kind of slowly, being on, he said he's going to be on a pitch count in week 1. Either John Simon or Whitney Mercilus will be the starter on the other side. Simon was picked up off waivers during the midseason point last year. He's tough but undersized. Mercilus signed a $26 million extension during the offseason. The energetic Brian Cushing is a fantastic run defender. He diagnoses quickly, navigates through traffic, and explodes through ball carriers. He plays fast, very aggressive and strong, and the addition of Wilfork at nose tackle is only going to help him more this season. In pass coverage, he uses his speed and awareness. He breaks on the ball quickly, makes tackles in space. As a pass rusher, he does a solid job of beating the A-gap using his speed and strength. The other inside linebacker spot will probably go to Mike Mohamed. He's best in coverage. There's also Akeem Dent, who's best as a blitzer. Bernardrick McKinney is an inside linebacker of the future. He was taken in the second round and was my top-rated inside linebacker heading into the NFL draft. Kareem Jackson and Johnathan Joseph are a solid pair of corners. Jackson declined an extension prior to the 2014 season, and the gamble paid off. He got a 4-year, $34 million deal during the offseason. I mean, he's a complete corner. I actually like him a lot. Joseph is 31 now, but he's still fast and physical. Kevin Johnson was a first-round pick. He has great instincts and can play inside or outside. You know, I like him a little bit. A.J. Boye and Daryl Morris are very underrated in my opinion, but probably won't get much time on the field barring injury. Rahim Moore brought in as a free agent. He'll be the center fielder. His tackling has improved over the years and is taking a lot better angles to the ball carrier. Who will start opposite of him? Who knows? Will it be Andre Howell, Eddie Pleasant, Lonnie Ballantyne, or Quentin Demps? We shall see. Randy Bullock got better as the season went along after struggling to start. Shane Leckler remains one of the best punters in the game despite being 38 now. And Keyshawn Martin will be responsible for the return duty. So, prediction time. I don't have my list on me. So I think I have the Texans at 9-7, but I don't have them making the playoffs. So if Watt does want to win that MVP, the Texans are going to have to make the postseason. So it's going to have to be like, you know, when AP won the award in 2012, the Vikings made the postseason. Obviously, he was, you know, what, eight yards shy of matching Dickerson's mark. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I don't have Texans making the postseason. I have like another 9-7 record. They're gonna have to find a quarterback. Is it on the roster? You know, is it Mallett? Is it Hoyer? Do they have to draft one in the future? We shall see. But you know, should be another fun season. I like Bill O'Brien. I think he's a really good head coach, and you know, the Texans have a future. It's just I don't see it this year. Not yet. But you know, I loved watching J.J. Watt. I mean, he's my favorite player to watch in the league. That's a non-Eagle. So yeah, I got nothing but respect for the guy. All right, so I'm out of here. Make sure you follow us on Twitter @TheBitterBirds. Take care. Later.